Hello, strangers. Welcome back to another episode of Strange Bar and Grill. Today, we're going to continue the Unsolved Mystery series. I think we're up to volume 3 now, but instead of 3 shorter stories, I'm just going to do a deeper dive on a single story, the story of the Beaumont Children. Now, this is a story I actually heard about first in my comment section. Someone left a comment on one of my other Unsolved Mystery stories, and I didn't know anything about it until I was recently checking out another YouTuber's channel called Connor's Curiosities. He has an awesome channel out there, guys, where he talks about, different fascinating and unexplored topics. The video I happened to be watching of his was his Unsolved Mysteries Iceberg. He told the story very briefly, but in such a way that I just wanted to kind of do a deeper dive of it because it sounded real interesting. Thus, today's video. I'll leave a link to Connor's channel in the description. And if you guys want, go check him out. He has some really great content. And no, this is not a paid advertisement or anything. I just really wanted to share some more up and coming content creators. I mean, I'm not big by any means. I'm a small channel myself, but I'm just hey, this guy is making some amazing content. Share it with you guys. But before we jump into that story, if you're new to my channel and you like strange true crime and mysterious storytelling, then this is the place to be, here with me, JP. So kick back, grab a drink and a snack, and make sure to tip that like button. Join the SBG family by subscribing and hitting that notification bell to make sure you're getting notified when I release my videos 1 to 2 times weekly. Anyway, let's go, guys. It was a gorgeous summer morning in 1966 when 3 young children in South Australia decided to spend the day at the beach. After failing to return home a few hours later, the children were labeled missing. They were never seen again. The disappearance of the Beaumont children became one of Australia's most famous unsolved cases. And I have a lot of other Australian true crime stories, so if you guys like this one, make sure you guys go check the other ones out, because I do have a story of a guy who accidentally kind of pays for his own death, some other serial killers in Australia, so go check it out. Go check them out. But anyway, let's get back on track here. The Beaumont family lived in Somerton Park, Adelaide, a beautiful beachside suburb in South Australia. Jim, a taxi driver, was married to Nancy, and together they had 3 children, Jane, 9, Arnna, 7, and Grant, 4. They lived close to Glenelg Beach, a popular location during the summer months. On the 26th of January 1966, the children decided to head out there to spend the day. Their mother agreed, as they had done so a few times before, with the rule that young Jane would be in charge of her siblings. Nothing wrong there. I mean, we've all been out without our parents, and usually the older sibling watches us, so nothing crazy there to me. They were given money for the bus fare and a small lunch. Their mother told them to return on the 12 p.m. bus. 12 p.m. came and went, and there was no sign of the Beaumont children. So I was just thinking earlier before this, I just said Jane was old enough to watch her younger siblings going to the beach, but I just remembered she's 9, so that might not be, that might not be good. I'm thinking of my kids now, and I would never send my 10-year-old to the beach with her little brother to the beach. I just wouldn't expect that to go well. So anyway, I take that back. Anyway, when 2 p.m. passed and the children still hadn't returned, Jim and Nancy became concerned. Around 3 p.m., Jim returned from work, and after finding out the youngsters were missing, he drove straight to the beach to search for them. Unfortunately, his efforts yielded nothing, so he came back to pick up Nancy, and together they went around the suburb and friends' houses. When their second attempt produced the same results as the first, they went to the local police station and reported the disappearance. Immediately after being informed of the missing children, the police quickly organized an extensive search party covering the entire beach and the surrounding area. Jim and Nancy prayed that the children simply wandered out too far and got lost. However, there was a very real possibility that something more sinister had taken place. And I'm sure they just felt it in their gut. You can just tell when something's not right. Police began to monitor the airport, railroads, and interstate roads. in case of kidnapping or trafficking. The news of the disappearance quickly became known across the entire country after a woman reported that she had seen and spoken to the children close to a nearby marina. The police had it drained, but they found nothing. Out of the 17 items the siblings had with them on that day, the police failed to find any in their comprehensive search. The complete lack of any trace suggested the worst, that someone abducted the Beaumont children. Investigators interviewed many of the locals in search of clues as to what happened to the Beaumont siblings. One woman's story in particular caught their attention, which went on to become their main lead. She informed the police that she saw the children playing on the lawn close to the beach around 11 a.m. She noticed that a man, likely in his 30s, first watched them from afar, then strangely decided to join them. What a creep, man. You know what my take on this is? Like, after listening to true crime stories and just hearing just horrible stories, anytime I see someone watching kids or anything from afar, I just want to go beat the crap out of them. Preventative measures but I know that's crazy. That sounds paranoid and nuts too, but I just want to go just run across and just crack someone in the chin. But you can't go around punching everybody. That looks weird because that's horrible. Anyway, so he's watching the kids from afar. He decided to join them, and it seemed to the woman that the group was enjoying themselves and that perhaps they maybe knew each other. She described him as a tall, blonde man, around 6 foot, slim, and tan skin. He was wearing a blue Speedo-style swimming suit and had a blue towel with him. The woman mentioned that she saw him being very familiar with the children, even helping the girl put her clothes on. What the hell? Yeah, see, that's too far. He's putting clothes on the girl. She probably thought maybe he was like a family member or something, maybe. But yeah, that just looks all types of wrong and all types of strange and all types of bizarre. So if someone decided to come Superman punch this man in the face, hey, I support it. You got my vote, sir. Punch in the face. Anyway, he went on to change, and the kids waited for him on a bench, and then they left together. So I'm assuming this man was probably a complete stranger, if they don't know him, and he probably told them, hey, we can go get some ice cream, get some candy or something, wait here and go get changed. And they waited because you want to trick kids, candy, sweets, money, puppies, whatever, that does the trick, right? Anyway, 2 other women reported seeing the children around midday with a man matching the same description. However, no one reported them acting frightened or unnatural. The police theorized that the man had previous encounters with the Beaumonts and they were familiar with each other. The police also talked to a local bakery employee familiar with the children as they had visited the shop many times before. She said that on the day of their disappearance, the 3 kids came to the shop and bought a meat pie and some other pastries. The first peculiar detail was that they had never purchased a meat pie before, and when she asked them about it, they replied that it's a pie for the man. The second anomaly was that they paid with $1. However, their mother had only given them a few coins. This transaction led investigators to believe that the children obtained the money from the man that was allegedly with them. See? Money and food and damn. Around 9 months after the mysterious disappearance, a woman told the police that on the same night as the tragic event, she saw 2 girls and 1 boy accompanied by a man entering an abandoned house in the neighborhood. She added that later she saw the boy walking by himself. However, the man caught up with him and took him back to the abandoned house. Why is no one punching the shit out of this man? Excuse my language. Sorry, this stuff gets me worked up. It's like this dude's taking children into abandoned warehouses. Nobody has a bat, tire iron. I know this is not the United States, so people aren't carrying Uzis and shotguns and AKs and stuff. But, nah, I'm making light of it. That's stupid. But yeah, it's like, you hear the details and it's just like, man, someone like just random act of violence in this guy or something, man. I don't know. It just sounds like it just sounds so fishy and just sounds so horrible. So I'm not trying to make fun, not trying to make light of it, but man, just like, but that's all people are becoming because of stories like this. Their eyes are more open to stuff and people are watching out more for this stuff. So anyway, again, not trying to make light of the story at all because this is serious, it's crazy. It's poor children. But anyway, let's continue with the story. And apparently they had left the abandoned building by the next morning, and she had not seen them, the man and the children, again. And it's unclear why she waited such a significant amount of time before mentioning the incident. Due to her delay in reporting, the police never attempted to search the house. If she would have reported that immediately, those children may have been still in that house with this man, and they could have been found, and this wouldn't be an unsolved mystery, and I would not be reporting on this case at all. So if you guys see something strange out there, report it. Report it, report it, report it. Especially when it comes to children, report it. No one is gonna call you a Karen. Save the children, save those kids. Anyway, back to the story. So they also hired a clairvoyant, or a psychic. So desperate to find their children, the Beaumonts, with the help of a wealthy friend, paid for a famous Dutch clairvoyant, Gerard Croiset, to come over to Australia and aid in the search. Croiset claimed he was sure the bodies of the children lay buried under concrete in a nearby warehouse. The owners of the building eventually agreed to have the site dug up, but they found nothing. None of Croiset's attempts to find any clues proved to be successful. It reminds me of that Sylvia Browne. I used to watch all that psychic stuff here and was all into it. And then I read something that's all a hoax and they do cold readings and all this weird stuff. So now I'm like skeptical to the point where I argue with my wife about psychics and being skeptical. And yeah, so anyway, let me know if you guys believe in psychics, or if you guys have proof or cases or things you want me to check out as far as psychics and stuff. You know, like I said, I'm skeptical, but I always have an open mind. So anyway, back to the story. The authorities amassed quite a few suspects based on witness testimonies. Most of the suspects already accused or convicted in other murder or abduction cases, but no one was ever officially arrested in connection to this case. And now we're gonna look at some suspects here, and these dudes look guilty as hell. Like, let's be honest, these dudes look like some stereotypical child endangering people, right? Like, let's be honest here. Anyway, the first guy we're gonna look at here is Harry Phipps. He was a local business owner living in a house situated only a few meters away from the beach. He became a suspect in 2013 after his 15-year-old son claimed he saw the trio in their yard the day they disappeared. So it's a 15-year-old son, so he's very, very well aware. He's not like young, so it's not like he's just misremembering, making stuff up. He says he saw the kids in their backyard. And plus his dad looks like a weirdo, so his kids might have been there. Phipps even matched the description of the man last seen with his siblings. However, not much else linked him to the case. Two workers also came forward to say that they received a payment to dig a hole in the Phipps' factory yard only a few days later. Investigators performed a search at the factory on 2 occasions, even using an excavator and powerful radars, but found nothing. My money's leaning on that guy, because who's to say they didn't dig a hole, put those kids in there, and then later on he moved them around or something, you know? Let me know what you guys think. And another person of interest was Bevan Spencer Von Einem, already serving a life sentence in 1984 for the murder of a 15-year-old. Police began to suspect Bevan Spencer Von I'm not trying to say the whole name. We'll just say Spencer, because that's the only name I recognize in that. Police began to suspect Spencer may be involved in the Beaumont disappearance. Police learned that convicted child killer Spencer bragged about having abducted 3 children from a beach a few years back to other inmates in his prison. Spencer claimed to have taken them home to perform experiments on them. However, one of them died during the surgery, and so he decided to kill them all. He claimed to have dumped their bodies somewhere south of Adelaide. Despite his unofficial confession, there was never enough evidence to accuse him. However, he is still considered a potential suspect to this day. And he looks like he did it because he's weird looking. Arthur Stanley Brown. Arthur Stanley Brown was charged in another murder case of 2 sisters in 1970. He never received a conviction for the murders as he was deemed unfit to be tried after being diagnosed with dementia and Alzheimer's. Although detectives never managed to gather evidence to connect him to the Beaumont case, he did match the description of the man seen with the trio that day. Next, we're going to get into the fake letters that the family received. So as we all know, the Beaumont disappearance quickly gained nationwide coverage. Over the years, Jim and Nancy continually had to deal with people contacting them about it. 2 years after the incident, they received 3 bizarre letters. The eldest daughter, Jane, allegedly wrote 2 of the letters, and again, allegedly. The letters said that a man on the beach took them, but they are now living happily in his care. And the abductor allegedly wrote the 3rd letter himself, who now claimed to have the 3 Beaumont children in his care. The mystery man in the letter claimed to have taken the children to look after them, but was willing to bring them back to Jim and Nancy if they could arrange an adequate meeting spot. Jim and Nancy agreed, of course, hopeful that they would have the chance to find their 3 children. An undercover detective accompanied them, but when they arrived there was no sign of anyone. A subsequent letter alleged that the man had decided to keep them as he felt betrayed by the presence of the detective. Initially, the police believed that the letters were genuine, but 25 years later, with the help of new forensic technology, it was proven that all of the letters were simply a cruel joke written by at the time, a teenager. They never charged the person responsible as too much time had passed since the incident, but they should have got Superman punch. Bah! Of course, I'm kidding. And again, this case is still unsolved, guys. They have tons of leads, but they can never catch anything promising and anything to connect anybody, but the case is still open. Nancy and Jim never gave up hope of finding their missing children. They continued to help the investigation for many years. Jim and Nancy Beaumont decided to continue living in their Somerton Park home, thinking that the 3 might just one day come back. But eventually, after years of suffering, they decided to separate and move away from the house. Tragically, their mother, Nancy Beaumont, died on November 16th, 2019. Their father, Grant Alfred Beaumont, died on April 9th, 2023, without ever finding out what happened to their children. Again, like I said, this case remains open to this day, and as time goes on, the likeliness of them actually solving the case just gets slimmer and slimmer, and I don't know if they'll ever solve this case, guys. It's been well over 50 years, and still no concrete information on who committed these crimes. If you guys have theories, leave it in the comment section. If you committed these crimes, turn yourself in, Superman punch yourself in the face, because it's really sad. It reminds me of the Johnny Ghosh case, something similar to that. I mean, anytime you hear about children coming up missing, it's always sad. That's so heartbreaking, especially even if you don't have kids, you can still empathize and whatnot, but especially if you have kids, if you're a parent, you're a father, you're a mother. Yeah, just hearing these stories, these get to me the most, probably these, and then like when people assault women and stuff, like those are to me the most disgusting crimes. Anyway, guys, if you guys like my channel, if you guys like my storytelling, then make sure to leave a like, leave a comment for me, because I do like to hear what you guys think, and I do respond back to you guys, so I like to have that conversation, get your guys' take on some of these stories and see what you guys think and some of your theories and whatnot, because to me that's the best part of kind of discussing and sharing ideas and whatnot, get the stuff out there. But anyway, guys, be good, be safe.